Recently, I've been contemplating the gift of learning patience from longer sales cycles. In a previous life, I come from kind of prosumer B2B SaaS world where a lot of sales were driven by scarcity marketing or incentivizing customers to purchase because there was perhaps a discount available with a promotion that's going away or some bonuses that came if people bought a product by a certain time and that went away. And, it has many of the sales characteristics of Groupon, right? There's an offer and then it goes away. And if you don't buy before a deadline, then you don't get the thing. And when you do that, you can predictably drive sales in markets that have consumer-like properties. But in more B2B sales cycles, I've found that a lot of the buying behavior is driven by the customer, and that's how it should be, right? And I've had a few experiences recently that I'm actually kind of grateful for that have taught me that longer sales cycles can indeed end up fairly fruitful. So I guess the first example that I want to run through is around us raising VC money. One of the VCs we approached told us up front that they were in the process of raising their fund and it would be a while until we heard back from them. And I at first thought this was code for, we just want to hear your pitch, maybe get intelligence from the space, but there's no way on earth that, we're going to invest in you. So I a little bit begrudgingly gave the pitch, even though I trusted these folks. And after, walking them through our business and what we were doing, I didn't hear back from them for a long time. And frankly, I didn't expect to hear back from them. I thought it was a done deal and that it would never happen. And then lo and behold, maybe a month and a half later, I heard back from them and they said, we're in. And I was taken aback. I thought they were going to get on the phone to just provide a rejection, but that wasn't the case. And then a little bit later, they actually told me that they wanted to up their investment, which I was happy about because I really liked them. And there wasn't exactly enough room in the round, but we wanted to make some for them because we really, really liked them. And it was just a really positive experience that proved me wrong about my skepticism. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs tend to be impatient and skeptical. We're used to hearing a lot of rejection, right? I think if you have ambitious goals, you tend to hear more rejections than acceptances, I guess. So that's the first example I wanted to lay out. The second example is around our biggest customer to date. And, they had approached us, really before we even officially had our API out of beta, and they'd approached us about purchasing our product, and that deal didn't go through. But then a few months later, conversations resumed, and again, things seemed to be really kind of dragging along. And I was patient, and I waited, and we tried to respond to them as quickly as we could. And 3 to 4 months later, that deal closed, even though, again, they initially said they could, that they had gone in another direction. They came back, and then something happened. And that was another really positive experience for me. Again, I'm an impatient person. I'm used to rejection. I think sometimes I can be a little bit skeptical. But again, that resulted in our largest sale to date. The third example is around a company that I led the acquisition of at my prior business, Lead Pages. We acquired a company called Drip, and when I first reached out to Rob Walling, the CEO of the company, we had talked for a bit, and conversations died down initially. Admittedly, that was actually on my part. And I went to him roughly, it might have been a year after I first reached out to him, and restarted conversations. And the second time when the conversations were rekindled, it closed fairly quickly, maybe 3 to 4 months. And now, Drip, the acquisition went through. Drip is growing at a really, really fast pace. And Lead Pages, actually, the corporate entity that was Lead Pages is now called Drip, because Drip was the CRM, and Lead Pages was a landing page builder, right? So when you think about these types of businesses, it tends to be the case that the company is named after the CRM, and the landing page builder or other aspects of a marketing automation system are named after kind of the customer hub rather than the other way around. So those were 3 examples where I learned to really keep an open mind about deals, to not burn bridges, to not get frustrated when things don't happen immediately, and just chalk it up to the kind of circuitous and somewhat nonlinear path that a lot of larger deals follow. I think more often the timeline is driven by a bunch of random forces, but also just sort of the needs of the person on the other side of a deal. And often when you first talk, and before the seed has really been planted, it's not a top of mind thing, but that seed can grow and develop into something much bigger. And I think as I mature as an entrepreneur and as a business person, this has been one of the healthiest and best lessons I've learned. And in the most important instances of this kind of thing, where a big deal has taken longer than I've expected, I think in almost every case like this, it's turned out the way that I wanted it to. It just hasn't happened as quickly as I had hoped. Anyway, just wanted to share that lesson. It's been a valuable one for me, and I hope you too get to benefit from these types of experiences, and that they go your way. And even if you don't, that you don't immediately give up, especially on the most important deals, that you don't get impatient, that you don't burn your bridges, that you don't come across as annoyed. All right. Take care. Bye.